If you're watching this, you are wondering how I got into some of the UCs, so UCLA, UC Irvine, and UC San Diego. As an out-of-state student, honestly, I was kind of apprehensive to post something like this, since I know a lot of people tend to watch these videos to compare themselves to the people and or emulate what they're doing to get into the schools, which is fine because I did that too, but I honestly just want to be of use to this community since I've been following a lot of these YouTubers for a very long time. Not going to UCLA, it was way too expensive for me, as was all of the other ones, because I'm out of state, so this is purely for educational purposes. The gist is that I've taken basically every honors and AP class that existed in my school because, yeah, I just did that. The first thing I put for my awards was AP Scholar with Distinction. I think you get this for taking 5 APs and getting above a 3 on them. I also got a PSAT letter of commendation. I didn't really do that well in my PSATs compared to those kids who grind their SATs. I think I only got 1370, but yeah, I guess it was in the top 10% of the nation, so it was they just sent a plain letter in the mail, but I put that because I didn't really have that many honors and awards. I just kind of milked everything. Okay, now for my extracurriculars. Mainly, to preface, I am not a STEM girly. You could never force me to be an engineer. You could never force me to go into pre-med. I like science. I don't like math that much. I like arithmetic, but I couldn't do it for a living, so no CS. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a woman in STEM. The first activity I did was an internship, or this is the first one listed, but I put the internship I did over the summer going into senior year at the office of Senator Cory Booker, which was basically I just learned how to write memos. I did a lot of filing. I learned how our senator's office operates and kind of gets things done. Honestly, it was probably the most significant internship I did in terms of the name and I guess the application process. So the second one I put was another internship at the office of Congressman Pascrell. He's my local congressman, and I did this one throughout junior year. They let me leave once a week from school to go and do this. For the third activity I put, I listed my work on Alexandra Hunt's campaign for Congress. Alexandra Hunt is a Democrat who is very liberal and more modern, and she ran in Southern Philadelphia, so I helped virtually with phone banking, which is calling people and asking them to vote and asking for their support. Well, I think I got a lot better at answering the phone and being quick on what I was going to say with this internship, and I felt personally it was something I enjoyed because her beliefs really resonated with me. She supported the local people and was very against corrupt politics, which is something I was able to write about a lot in my essays as well. So for number 4, I talked about my club, and this club I actually wrote about in a bunch of my supplements. It was something honestly I was really passionate about and very happy to start in my school. It's called Falcons for Change, and It's a social justice and student activism club. We didn't have anything like that in our high school, so in junior year I decided to start it, and we gained maybe like 30 members total. I think I wrote the most about it in all my essays because it was just something that was really meaningful to me, and I don't know, for me personally, I go to a very predominantly white school, so one of my best friends in high school, she's Pakistani, and she was the vice president of my club. Our secretary and treasurer were Indian. They're also some of my closest friends, so for us, being able to kind of speak out and get our community involved with a lot of cultural things and exposure to different cultural practices was really meaningful because, a lot of the time students are opposed to eating Asian food or Hispanic food or just kind of uncomfortable with things that they're not familiar with. Next, activity 5. I listed that I was the captain of my tennis team. I did tennis for all 4 years throughout high school, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't really talk about it much in anything I wrote, but it was kind of nice to just do something sports related in high school. I played on varsity since sophomore year, and then I became captain junior year. Okay, I took a break because my lips were so chapped I had to get lip balm, and also, filming is tiring, but we're at activity 6, and I worked at a law office, specifically immigration law, for sophomore and junior year. I listed it kind of lower, even though it seems kind of like something that you'd list higher, just because it was a paid internship, so I felt like since it's kind of like an actual job, I guess I didn't know where to put it, but I put it here. I wrote about it quite a bit in some of my supplements, none that got accepted, but it was a really great experience. The attorney I worked with was a really, really nice woman, very smart, and I learned a lot more, I think, about the country's politics. For activity 7, I was a junior commissioner for our county's Commission on the Status of Women. Only a couple kids per school, I think, are selected, or maybe not every school participates, but I think they just kind of pick from the general pool, and if people happen to be in the same school, it just kind of works out that way. I was one of 2 kids that represented my school specifically. We met once a month to discuss different activities young women can do in the county, and also kind of just organize smaller events. So we did a period product drive. We also did like a charity event thing that celebrated women. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, this one's very low on my list because I only met once a month with them, and there wasn't really that much to say about it. But yeah. For activity 8, I listed another internship. This was at a state senator's office. So in New Jersey, we have a bunch of different types of legislators. So this was local state government, not federal state government, if that makes sense. We have state legislators, which basically kind of like how the governor is like the president of a state. They have different like congressmen of the state too, so I worked for one of the state senators. This was only for a couple months over like sophomore fall, I think, but I got really good at doing Excel sheets and administrative work, I guess. For number 9, I was a writer and researcher for Asian activists. We basically wrote a lot of different articles about Asian culture, Asian recognition. So it kind of started as a way to bring attention to a lot of the different issues that afflict the AAPI community. So at the time, Asian hate crimes were like huge because of COVID. So we kind of wrote speaking out against that. We also talked about like Asian fishing, Korea food. It was a good experience, I think. It helped me just get on top of things and kind of figure out what I like and didn't like. And I also felt good about myself taking initiative to help my community at that time, because I was like 14, like what else am I supposed to do? But I was able to do something nice for my room, so. And then lastly, I put that I was the VP for Slot 10. I was the VP of my Science National Honor Society at school. We didn't really do that much. We organized blood drives and had monthly meetings, so that's kind of all I did in regards to that, so that's why it's 10th, but I ended up being able to fill all my slots. Personally, I don't think you should feel obligated to fill in every spot on the Common App. If you have 5 really strong extracurriculars, I would just list those over 10 kind of weak extracurriculars. I ended up filling up all the space because I just had a lot of things and I didn't know where to put them. That was, I think, everything I did, but I probably could have shortened it if I wanted to and really expanded on the things. Personally, I listed the things that, I guess, in my opinion, felt the most prestigious and were of the most importance to me. So I listed most of my government internships first, since I obviously am going as a poli-sci major. And yeah, I also wanted to put a lot of the things that were very meaningful to me above like other things. So my club that I founded at school is obviously more important to me than Science Honor Society. Sorry. But yeah, that's how I would kind of gauge it. So that's all of my stats and extracurriculars. Again, don't compare yourself to me or anybody else. I used to do that crazy when I was applying to college and before. Like, I think when I was in 7th grade, that's when I first started watching these videos, and then now I'm like recording one, which is kind of gross. But you really don't know how the admission cycle is going to go until you go through it. And even if it doesn't go the way it intended, like, I guess for me personally, I just think everything works out, and you should just be proud of yourself that you made it through, because it's kind of like the most depressing time ever. I mean, unless you get into your dream school, which is good for you. But it's in general, it's just a very depressing time because you're filling out all of these essays. There's a lot of anxiety. You're stressed. I get it. But hopefully my video was able to help you a little bit more. I can also share some more of my supplements or other things if you'd like that as well. Definitely like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I intend on posting more, not really just about college admissions like I said earlier, but just other things, vlogs, makeup, beauty. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I see you back here.